Lynx versus Game Boy.
History is written by the winners, and the House of Mario clearly gets to be the lead writer in the memoir of the late 80s and early 90s handhelds. But looking at the Lynx today kinda makes a fellow wonder, should the underdog have won this fight?
Lynx will blow you away.
And blow your opponent away. Game Boy, only from Nintendo.
We're gonna look at graphics, games, and other features to see which of these 30-year-old consoles should be considered the supreme one. Atari's Lynx deserved to sell more than the 3 million units that it did. It has thinner cartridges than the GB. These black bad boys were skinny and pretty, the prom queens of 1989's handheld gaming. You could play left or right-handed. Oh my, would Ned Flanders be mighty pleased. It's the only ambidextrous handheld ever so far. You could even play some games vertically. That's pretty cool. All jacks, buttons, and adjustment wheels are neatly aligned across the top, unlike on the Game Boy, which has everything spread all over the place. The screen size is as big as the enemy's at 3.5 inches, but it separates itself from the Game Boy by having a backlight and color. And you already know, color really brings visuals to life. If you look at the graphics and gameplay in titles like Warbirds, it kinda makes a fellow wonder why it didn't sell more than the green and black backlightless Game Boy. It has the Comlink system, theoretically allowing up to 15 to jam on a game at the same time. If you were in the same room connecting through cables in a chain, and all players had a Lynx and a copy of the same game, you could do it. Todd's Adventure in Slime World supported up to 8 players at once. Not bad in 1989, and without innovations like these, team deathmatches and Super Mario parties might not be possible at the level we have today.
1, 2, 3, woo!
The Game Boy came with a really well-known game, Tetris. Everyone already knew about Tetris at the time. The Lynx also came with a game, California Games, which required you as a consumer to take a chance on an unknown. Handhelds were really quite something novel at the time, and so being packaged with something so familiar made it much more attractive. This, combined with a bigger launch, led to more sales early on, which gave Nintendo more cash for marketing, R&D, putting out more well-developed and well-known games like Pac-Man. The Lynx only had Miss Pac-Man. We mean, it's good and all, but it's not quite the same.
What?
Jeez, nothing.
You can see the cartridge label of a Game Boy game when it's docked in, whereas with the Lynx, you have to turn the machine on or slide the cartridge out to see what's in there if you have a Model 2. And on the Model 1, the game goes inside the Lynx and a garage door goes over the top of it, sealing it in. The Game Boy only uses 4 AA batteries for 15 hours of gameplay, with some users reporting getting up to 30 hours of gameplay on it, enough for entertainment all the way through a flight from Chicago to Sydney, Australia, with a layover. Its opponent uses 6 AAs, which lasts about 6 hours, just enough to amuse yourself on a flight from Montreal, Quebec to Hollywood, California. After the Atari Lynx started to focus more of its attention on developing the Jaguar in '93 and stopped completely to support the Lynx in 1995, Nintendo just poured out hit after hit after hit, creating lasting franchises and a bigger cult. In its day, the Nintendo Game Boy crushed the competitors at the cash register, having sold over 118 million units, including the Game Boy Color. But was it the better machine? We believe that the Atari Lynx was indeed a better machine, but the Game Boy had better games and is therefore a better buy. Like many great athletes and artists that went before their time, the Lynx had its legs cut off before it was able to reach a full Pokemon-level stride. Kind of like how we'll never really know if Grant Hill was going to surpass Michael Jordan's achievements, as his ankle injury sidelined him more often than not. But if he had a full bill of health, maybe. And sure, the Lynx was the equivalent of a gas guzzler in terms of battery life, but there's a market for that, as many people value performance over energy economy. The Lynx's contribution to the handheld console is still substantial to this day, and it was perhaps one Zelda or Pokemon away from superstardom. Let's hope the new Atari VCS doesn't quit before it grinds out its God of War or Halo-level flagship game. Maybe a 2021 version of Pong? There are a total of 74 games available for the Lynx compared to the estimated 1,046 Game Boy titles. If you make more games, you make more hits. For every Wario Land, there's probably 74 Game Boy games you've never heard of. And that's the size of the whole Lynx library. Kinda makes a fellow wonder.